Carson Wentz, 98 yards. Bo Nix lit up the Chiefs' backups, 4 touchdowns. And I don't usually include conversations at the deli in the newsread, but while I was getting my meatball parm on a roll, do you see I had that?
Yeah.
Guy at the deli, because he's a Bills fan, was talking about Chiefs. He said they didn't want to play the Bengals.
Oh.
Any concerns about the 38-0 final score?
They were scared?
That's out there. It's out there.
That's the guy at the deli who's wonderful and wears that Bills hat all the time is allowed to have that take because he has a responsibility of running the deli. The people who get paid massive amounts of money to give sports takes who have that take and leave out the fact that in order to play the Bengals would have to have clipped Buffalo first, which would be objectively great for Kansas City, are not allowed to have that take. But everyone from your favorite next Jets head coach to Don Van Natta Jr. has that same idiotic take. And I wouldn't have, listen, by the way.
I like both of those guys.
Both of them?
Yeah,
you
I like
Rex?
Rex. I
wow.
like Rex.
But regardless, we don't have a lot of time here. And since you brought up the Bengals, let's talk about the Bengals for a moment. Because my only concern about KC is Butker missed that kick. And I am a little worried about that. But aside from that,
Okay. Well, now he just goes on to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. So he's not concerned at all about the Broncos beating the Chiefs 38-0. So they're addressing that there's a lot of people that think that Kansas City Chiefs lost on purpose. They got rolled by the Broncos on purpose because they're afraid of the Bengals. I do not think that to be the case at all. Not to mention, Bo Nix just lit the Chiefs on fire. I don't care the backups. I don't care that it was the backups. I don't. This was a rookie quarterback who played out of his mind. Out of his mind. And that the throws and the plays that he was making had nothing to do with the backups. He wasn't throwing to these wide open wide receivers. He wasn't throwing just little, 1-yard passes and then, they were able to take off and break tackles because the defense was so poor. That's not the case. He didn't have all day in the pocket. I mean, he had to scramble. He had to run for 47 rushing yards. He was throwing just beautiful balls. Beautiful balls. 30, 40, 50 yards down the field. That 47-yard pass to Sutton. I mean, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. 18 straight completions for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns and 47 rushing yards. I mean, he was doing everything he wanted to do. And again, it had nothing to do with the bad defense because it was against the backups. And so the bigger picture of all this is true. You're not oh yeah, Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's obviously not the situation. Obviously not. Just not to mention that the Broncos couldn't sustain any drives. The Chiefs couldn't sustain any drives on offense. I mean, they left Carson Wentz out on an island. I mean, he had nowhere to go. He was being harassed the entire game. Nobody was open. Nobody could catch the ball. I mean, there was nothing for him going there. I actually felt bad for Wentz because then people were like, oh, Wentz isn't good. And it's what did you want him to do in that situation? He had no run game. He had no one to throw the ball. He had no protection. He had nothing going for him. And he was going up against a full-strength top defense in the NFL. Who do you think was going to succeed in that situation? Field goal kicker couldn't even make a field goal. But don't take away from, don't take it away from the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. Yeah, if this was Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, if these were seasoned veterans, then I could understand. But again, the way how Bo Nix played, who he was playing was irrelevant. 26 for 29, 321 yards, 7 carries for 47 rushing, 11.1 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, and a 152.4 rating, and was the leading rusher. That has nothing to do with the defense. That was all Bo Nix and Sean Payton unloading. Making beautiful throws. Beautiful throws. Completely stretching the field. And again, it's not like it was blown coverage throwing to wide open guys. That's not how that game unfolded. It's just not. So it was a special performance. Again, I don't care who he was playing. Got a little lucky with that one touchdown. Where it went off multiple people. I mean, that was wild. I mean, I kept watching replays of that. But Romo said it best at the very beginning of the broadcast, where he said, Bo ain't no rookie anymore. And it's true. He graduated from that. He graduated from that games ago. I mean, everything that Bo Nix has done has just been awesome. He has been an absolute home run. An absolute home run. 3,775 passing, 26 touchdowns, 34 total touchdowns, and 12 interceptions, 430 rushing total, top 7 in touchdowns, 66.3% completion percentage. The Denver Broncos relied on him. He's top 7 in dropbacks, top 7 in pass attempts, top 2 in scrambles, but bottom. So he's top 2 in scrambles, but at the bottom of the league in the percentage of those scrambles turning into sacks. So he was top 4 in the least amount of sacks with the percentage of those of the scrambles turning into sacks. Up there with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And that's on Bo Nix, which I'll talk about in multiple videos because I love that. I'm going to make another video that I'll post tomorrow, and I'm going to emphasize that as well because that's special. That's special. That speaks to the intentionality of Bo Nix and how he doesn't try to do too much. He's in control because you have Caleb Williams who scrambles a ton, but he led the league in pressure to sack percentage at 28%. Bo Nix was 12.8%. So Caleb is just trying to run around like, I don't know what to do. And because of that, he gets sacked. Whereas Bo Nix is in complete control, has to scramble, and knows where to go, knows what to do. Is so much more resilient to taking that sack. And again, that's on Bo Nix, not so much the O-line. At times, the O-line can get on board because they can kind of, get an extra block in there and so. But for the most part, that's going to fall more on the quarterback. Top 10 in the least turnover-worthy plays. One below Justin Herbert, who we know takes care of the ball as good as it gets. This was just a great overall season. I think the Denver Broncos went out on the highest note that they possibly could have. They should be feeling great. They obviously have a brutal matchup going up against the Buffalo Bills. That will be a tough game, no doubt about it. Having to fly all the way out there to Buffalo. Who knows what the weather will be. Weather outside on the East Coast has been pretty unpredictable. 1 minute, it's like 65 degrees out. Literally the next minute, it's a blizzard. So yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what the forecast is out there. But, should hopefully be a fun, competitive game. But, yeah. I don't think also, to be fair, if you are Nick Wright or the Chiefs, I don't think you should be concerned about KC getting blown out. I don't think there are main concerns. To me, it was more about the Broncos as well as, obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs sat all their starters. That's a real thing, right? We can't deny that. And so even if you're the biggest Broncos and Bo Nix fan, you can't boost this win up to being that's right, they just set the league on fire. No. Individually, they lit the Kansas City Chiefs on fire, but a very specific Kansas City Chiefs. This easily could have been a game where the Broncos won 14-3, 21-10. We saw games all around the NFL be really weird, ugly, no matter who they're playing. Great teams playing awful teams. Great teams playing teams that would be better off to lose to get a better draft pick. And that's not what happened with the Broncos. The Broncos played essentially flawless football. So again, I don't care who you're playing. In that situation, especially when you're a rookie, that's impressive. Again, if this was Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Josh Allen, I would probably think a little bit less about it. Kind of yeah, well, you guys are literal all-time greats. I expect it. This game could have easily been a 17-14 game. Easily. We've seen those games unfold a million times. We saw them unfold on Sunday. It's not what happened here. So, that's why the Broncos deserve credit. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos crushing the Kansas City Chiefs and Bo Nix's performance? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.